Hey guys, welcome back, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about your connection to the divine and finding your connection to that which is the divine source, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. People have so many different terminologies and terms for it, but the divine source, the universe, spiritual energy, your spirit guides, your spirit team, that's what we're going to talk about today. So it's quite a deep subject, and have you ever been in a place in life, maybe you're there now and that's why you're seeing this video, and you've had one of them synchronicity moments where I'm like, oh my god, I needed to know about this today. These things do happen. That's part of the process of your connection to that is the divine. But have you ever been in that place where you just want to know yourself properly? You've been pulled here, you've pulled there, you've had all these different situations, scenarios in life, but you've never had that time to just discover you, who you are, what makes you tick, to have that deeper connection to you. This video is going to be for you. This is going to be the video for you to be able to help yourself find that deep connection. So maybe you're struggling with your life path, your life purpose. Maybe you're struggling with just general things in life, relationships, jobs, financial stuff. It goes across the full spectrum of life, but understanding a little bit more about yourself and your journey, your path, who you are, where you're meant to go, what you're meant to be doing, will really, really help to enhance that connection to you, to be able to follow that journey, follow that inner calling, follow that inner self, and that inner wisdom that has been guiding you there to this point today to come across this video. So what is the importance of being able to know about ourselves? So I work with a lot of people. I work with various people around the world doing distance healing, and a lot of them you find that they just don't know themselves, or they want to find a deeper connection to themselves, or they want to just find some inner peace in life. And that inner peace, again, is something that we're all ultimately searching for, and that comes from that divine connection as well. But it's a really, really important thing to be able to just know ourselves, because if we don't know ourselves and we don't know why we behave the way we do, why we react the way we do, what feelings, what emotions come up, and all that sort of stuff, and we just go through life just allowing it to happen and not really knowing much about it, then we don't know ourselves. We don't know ourselves from this life, from things that have happened that might be coming up and rising up from within. So that wisdom, that clear wisdom that flows through, you already have that divine connection. We're all given it at birth. We were the spark of spirit, because we are that is. We are all each an individual, separate element of consciousness that is connected to Source, God, the divine. So we can tap into that whenever we want to. What tends to happen is life, trauma, ego, emotions, competition, the media, mainstream media, social media, it all fuzzes it all out. It blinkers it all out. So you ended up like this, and you ended up just walking around in a circle or in a box of your own mind, and it can be a really dangerous place to be sometimes when you're like that. Some people are quite happy just doing that. That's fine if that's their reality, but I'm sure if you're here, you want to expand that, you want to expand your vision, and you wanted to see a little bit more about who you are and what you are and the direction you're taking in life. So obviously an element of that is to do with third eye and your inner energy and that connection to your inner energy. And that's why it's important, because once you start to connect to this inner energy, that is again an aspect of the divine. Your energy that flows through you, that permeates everything, all natural life, that is an element of the universe, So we are made of atoms. Physics has proven this, and the universe, us, minerals, plants, crystals, all life form consists of this matter, and everything vibrates at different frequencies. So then when we start to tap into the different frequencies, and then we become more aware of something that is not physically tangible, something that we can just feel, and we have to trust those feelings of what they are, something that we just know internally. So we just have to go with that knowing, because that knowing comes from your inner wisdom, which is your connection to the all, God, source, divine, the universe. So there's many ways in which we can do this. There's many ways in which we can connect to the divine. They come in a multitude of forms that people have been talking about for eons, centuries, thousands and thousands of years, and the things that have been practiced for all that time. One of the main things that you probably guessed it is meditation. Meditation for so many is such an important part of a spiritual journey, such an important part of their spiritual practice. And it's a really important part of their spirituality. And spirituality, for me, the meaning behind that is it's your creativity through your spiritual work. So it's the itty on the end, creativity, spirituality. So it's the creation of your spiritual self. So you can use the tools that you have, that you've learned, that you've developed, that you're working on. You can use them to help you deepen that level of self-awareness. Is it about working with crystals? Not really, but again, it is a tool for spirituality. So all of these different tools that we use, from smudge sticks to incense to singing bowls to high vibrational music to meditation to Reiki, hypnotherapy, yoga, all these ancient practices take us deeply into the self. Why are they always teaching us to go to the self, to go within? Because that is where it is. That is where all the answers lie. So, when you get that gut feeling about something and your intuition is firing up and you just feel like you shouldn't be there, or you need to go there, or you feel a calling to go somewhere else, and you follow that calling and it turns out that you were right. That there is your very connection to the divine, your inner calling, your intuition. We can deepen that intuition, we can develop the intuition, and we can make it much stronger through the practices of which I mentioned earlier, the meditation, the Reiki, the hypnotherapy, all these other practices that are used within spiritual practices and spirituality. So you can then bring those practices into everyday life to be able to develop yourself and bring forth that creation from within. So that's why I think of spirituality and it being two words. It's spiritual, but it's creativity put together. So you're creating your spiritual self through the practices that you are using, the practices that you preach. We say that very much in the church. They, in their level of spirituality that they use prayer, they use singing, they use psalms, and all that sort of wonderful stuff, which again, that is what they want to do. I'm not a religious person at all. But if that's what they find, if that's what they use to find their divine, their spark, their source, then that's beautiful. And everyone's got their own journey, everyone's got their own path. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey, my path, and what brought me here today, because I've had some really good comments and questions on some of my videos lately where I've been asked, like, when was I aware that I was on a spiritual awakening or I was on some sort of spiritual path? And for the majority of the time, until you actually look back, I've probably been on that spiritual journey all of my life, from around about 3-year-old when I was starting to consciously ask questions about different things, such as what happens to us when we die, where do we go, and then, you know, in my later years, my teens, 20s, very much interested in paranormal investigations, ghosts, all the heebie-jeebie sort of stuff. I was really interested in all of that. And then started suffering with the mental health, which I'm sure if you're a follower of this channel, you know much about that. But for many years, I suffered with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, skin issues, few joint issues, things like that. And eventually, through the healing work, through the development of self, all that started to fade away. It really did start to fade away. And the key to it, the key to everything, the key about this connection to the divine, to that everyone is searching for, is that it is there within our very minds and our very beings. And the mind can be a strange force. The mind can take us into places that we don't want to be. The ego and the mind, when they work together, can create a lot of friction within the self. So this is why meditation is crucial to any spiritual journey, any spiritual path that you may be on. Meditation is, for me personally, but I'm sure for many, is the number one practice. Because what happens is when you go into the meditation, maybe for the first few minutes you've got a few things pinging off in your mind and thinking about dinner or tomorrow or whatever, and then you just start calming down. You bring yourself into that moment, into that inner peace. And then what starts to happen is you become more aware of your breathing. You start breathing into your belly. When you start breathing into your belly, you're starting to calm the nervous system down. When you start to calm the nervous system down, your blood pressure drops and other physiological things start taking place within your body. Your endocrine system starts to function better and to be removed toxins because you're calmer and you're reducing stress. So everything, when you're in that wonderful place of just peaceful, harmonious flow, is very beneficial and very healing to the mind, body and the spirit, because you're bringing everything into that one union of who you are. So the meditation is so important. And then once all that starts to take place and you've started getting into the swing of things, and remember, meditation is, because meditation is working with the brain, working with the mind, but also working with the energy body, the mind is still a muscle. So when we're going to the gym and we're pumping muscles and we're doing this, if you only go once a month or once every 6 months, you're not going to see any progress. If you go every day or a couple of times a day, you're going to be in the best shape ever. It's exactly the same for your mind. You really need to focus on that and bring an aspect of that into every single day. And I know for some people that's not possible, but there is ways and means around it. There is mindfulness. So what do we mean by mindfulness? Mindfulness is when we're taking a meditative practice from the external and bringing it to the internal. So a lot of the time I talk about when we're washing the dishes or taking a shower, or speaking on the phone, or listening to some quiet music, or eating your food, whatever it might be. Have a mindfulness practice within that. And what I mean by that is, if you're eating the food, be aware of the flavors. Eat the food slowly. Be aware of your breathing. Be aware of the chewing of the food, the swallowing of the food. Just taking your time with the food. Be aware of the sound of what's going on in the room. So all these things that are going on externally, we can really bring into a calm, quiet place within the self. And that's what we mean by mindfulness and using mindfulness practices. It's just about bringing inner stillness into your activity within life, whatever it might be, without actually sitting in meditation for 15, 20, 30 minutes, or however long it might be. So the meditation is crucial to that, and the calming of the energy and the calming of the mind, that is the key to then starting to open up the awareness within. You start to open up. You see a lot of spiritual pictures where they talk about the lotus flower opening up. That is what they mean by it. You're opening up your energy, you're opening up your level of awareness and consciousness. That is the sign for the lotus flower, this opening up of self, to be truly aware of yourself. Once you start to become truly aware of yourself, then, and only then, can you start to become aware of the divine, the feelings, the sensations, the intuitive information that comes through. But you really, really need to be deep in the self. You really need to be focused in that wonderful deep flow state. And there's many videos on this channel with regards to that, with regards to like breathing, belly breathing, using mindfulness techniques, meditations, all sorts of that stuff over this channel to help you to find that which everybody at the end of the day is looking for. And just because maybe you feel you're a little bit closer than somebody else, what I found over the years is when you start to feel that level of presence and that level of awareness of the divine, what tends to happen then is you start unfolding things internally. Things start coming up that you're like, well, where is this coming from? And why am I feeling that? And why is this memory from childhood or some unconscious memory coming up? And really making me feel a bit out of whack. Because when we start using these practices and we're doing a lot of the healing, doing a lot of sitting with the self, and we're opening up our consciousness to so much more. Meditation is such a wonderful healing practice that you're opening yourself up to yourself. And this is how you truly find yourself. And this is where you do all your inner work, your shadow work, your pain body, because you're analysing, you're being aware of the self, what's going on internally, the emotions, the feelings, all that sort of stuff. It all comes up. It comes up to the surface level. And that's when you become aware of it. You deal with it and you allow it to be integrated. You have an awareness with it. Where's it coming from? What does it mean? And through all these layers and layers that we work through, eventually we find an easier way of being. It becomes an everyday practice, an everyday way of being, where you become more connected to that harmonious state. And only when you're in that harmonious state of self, of mind, body and spirit, can you really have that true connection to the divine. So you also need to find a practice that works for you. Obviously for me, meditation, Reiki were like my first two practices that I really connected to deeply, and that's what works really well for me. For you, it might be something totally different, but you need to find that thing first. Find that one thing. But I would recommend just beginning with meditation. Just start off with meditation, because then what I also found is with meditation is, again, it opened my mind. It opened my level of awareness to my life, who was around me, what was going on around me, and I got the inner calling, the inner wisdom, the inner knowing of things that I had to do, and I had to move my trajectory from where I was to another place, and the universe helped to push me in that direction, which then pushed me on this path of learning about Reiki, healing the mind, body, everything, every part of us. So meditation, I would say, is the number one thing to start with, to really help to deepen that level of awareness. What you may also find when you're going through meditation, you may be aware of colours, you may be aware of a ringing in the ears, you may be aware of a slight swaying or dizziness when you're meditating. These are all totally normal sensations, by the way, because what is happening again is your energy is moving. The circular thing, the swaying, that is the Kundalini effect of energy that is moving up by your body through your chakras. The ringing in the ears is the change in frequency internally. The seeing the colours is the actual chakra colours that you see as well. So there is a lot of this, and I find this really interesting because some people, well, a lot of people that I work with, when we're going through meditation, I take them on a guided journey into meditation. And some of the group work that I do, when I take them into a guided meditation, I will ask them to be aware of a part of the body that they're, that where they feel that there might be an emotion, or there might be something that's going on that they need to just be aware of, and just identify it with a colour. And every time they identify it with the colour is what is corresponding to them in life, is what is affecting them. How amazing is that? That is just like, even if they don't have an inkling or a knowing about chakras, the colours of chakras, what chakras are, the Sanskrit meaning behind it all, they probably don't have any awareness of that whatsoever. But for them to see those colours that correlate with things that are going on in their life during a meditation, where I've just asked them to be aware of a colour and identify it with a colour. So there is something really deeply ingrained in us, in our energy, in our DNA, in every part of us, because we have that divine connection there already. It's just a fact of knowing that it's there, believing that it's there. And it's almost like when you do start doing the work and the meditation, it's like you just flick a switch and something switches on. There is an area of light that enters the being. There's light that comes through into your everyday life. And that's a really, really good sign when you know that you have got there, or you're on the journey, or you're in the right direction, is because you will feel this lightness. You will also feel a light internally, but you will just feel an energetic and physical, mental lightness. A few years ago, when I was working in a supermarket, and I was thinking about clients and how can I bring more clients in, what can I do, and I just had this overall overwhelming feeling while I was working away to just let it go, and just allow things to just be as they need to be. And then obviously the mind starts to kick in, but I need to be able to, no, you don't have control at all. We're so conditioned and programmed to think that we have control, that we need to be in control of everything that we do in everyday life. And yeah, I suppose there is some element to that. But are we really in control? Because what I believe now, and what I feel, is that every aspect of life is an element of the divine. We are all aspects of the divine, of God, of Source, of the universe, and we're all playing it out. Some are still trapped in the role of the name, the identity, the job, the social security number, the national insurance number, and all that sort of stuff. Some people are still living in that, that matrix. That's fine, they're the ones that keep that wheel turning for their reality, so that's fine if they're happy in that bubble. But again, when you want to connect to this a little bit deeper and you want to go further, the meditation opens your mind to so much more, and you start to see and realize that there is so much more going on than we can really ever comprehend. You can't even think about it physically or rationally, and you can't put it into rational terms of what is happening and why it's happening. At the beginning of the video, I talked about synchronicities and when synchronicities happen. And most people will just coincidence, they'll just, I don't believe in coincidence anymore. Everything happens for a reason. And, there's many a time when I've thought about somebody, or I haven't seen that person for so long, for years or whatever, that day, the next few days, I will bump into them. And they'll be there, and I'll be like, whoa. That is a sign, that is a signal that you are on that frequency. Because when you tap into that, you're almost tapping into the energy of manifestation. You're bringing that into your reality because you've just tuned in. You're like, oh, and that person will just totally randomly pop into your head. And the more you become aware of that, the more you work with that, the more you meditate, the more you connect on that frequency, the more things will happen. The deeper connection you will develop within yourself, the deeper connection you will have to the divine, and the wonderful experiences you're about to go through, the transformation, the moves. You're going to be taken on some wonderful journeys that you may also be taken, if you're going through like your early stages of spiritual awakening, you also may be taken on some really not so good experiences, or what people may deem as not very good. But what's actually happening is you're being given a lesson, and things are being moved out of your way because you don't need that anymore. You don't need that confusion, because you're wanting to tune into you. You're wanting to tune into yourself. You want to tune into that divine energy that is flowing through every cell of your being. And once the universe sees that and knows that, ping, everything lights up and everything will start to move in the right direction. The other question people ask as well is, well, how long is it going to take? How long is a piece of string? Why does it need to take a certain length of time? It's only the ego that wants it to take a week, 2 weeks, a month, next year. I want to have this done by this time. You need, once you start to get the idea of energy and vibration and being in the right vibrational state, everything will just happen when it's meant to happen, when you're in the right frequency, not when you're in fear, worry, anger, stress, regret, guilt, remorse, grief, all that sort of stuff, even though they are part and parcel of life and we have to navigate through them, but from awareness, deep analysis, deeper wisdom and knowing of ourselves, which is again part of this journey, we open ourselves up to that which is. And from there you get the downloads, the intuition, the inner knowing, just the feeling of being pulled into various directions. And it's a beautiful, beautiful path to just be able to just say, okay, universe, show me how good it's going to be. Show me how good it is. And just let the universe take you to where you need to be taken. Focus on you. Meditate. Get into that wonderful vibrational state. If you've never meditated before, I've got loads of meditation videos on this channel, which are quite short, introductory ones. I've got ones which are longer, which are more focused on certain things. I've also got Reiki healing videos on this channel, to help with any healing stuff that you're going through. Check out those playlists. But there is so much on this channel that will help you and guide you to that place that you're looking for. And that place that you're looking for as well, which is another interesting thing, is it will change your aspect of the divine, of that connection will change. It will alter a little bit because your level of awareness will change. And so as your level of awareness changes, the things within yourself changes, because then you become more tuned into you. So more stuff will come up and fire up that you need to be aware of, but also the things that are going on around you, the things that the information that you're receiving, it's all going to open up and create such a wonderful, wonderful journey and a wonderful connection to that. So if you're ready to start today. Meditation. If you want to join me or need some one-to-one mentoring, or if you need any healing, if you want any distance healing, any hypnotherapy, just any guidance, then get in touch below at my socials or my website, where I'll be happy to try and help in any way that I can from my own experience. If you don't know who I am, my name's Ian, and I've had this channel for about 3-4 years now, and basically here to try and help deepen people's awareness of spirit, the spiritual realm, to be able to do some healing work, self-healing, and to just bring some love into the world. So if that sounds like something that you resonate with, then get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. Also, comment below with any thoughts, any things that you've used to help yourself and deepen that connection to the divine. Until the next video, much love, do take care of yourselves, and namaste.